Yeah. It's your boy Joe Snow, and we back at it, man. And we hitting y'all with another one. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited to be back. It's been a minute due to some life changing events, but I'm back, and I promise to always try to keep it and give it to y'all raw when I can when it's about sports. So we got a lot of sports topics to talk about and discuss. Some of it already you may already know has already been on social media, whether you was watching the games, but I'm still gonna give it to you. So, without further ado, also just want to say thanks to all my fans, my supporters. You know, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube at Joseph Snowden 397. You can also follow me on Facebook, Joe Snow Podcast, or on my Instagram, my IG, Joe Snow Podcast, or excuse me, Joe Snow underscore podcast with a zero. So please feel free to follow me on there as well. Um, with further ado, we'll go ahead and get into our topics for today. Well, if you don't know, now you know. Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. That's right. Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. Um, he officially signed with the New York Jets um, the other day. Um, we finally got this deal done. Finally got the deal done. So it is a plus that New York can move forward, Green Bay can move forward with the young quarterback um, Jordan Love. So I think that's big for them. So listen, is it safe to say that the New York Jets are Super Bowl contenders? I listen to all these analysts on TV and these spectators, man. Listen, why are we crowning at the New York Jets Super Bowl champs or content? I mean, saying that they're going to the Super Bowl. Why are we doing that? Let's pause the brakes, people. First of all, Aaron Rodgers, what he went to one Super Bowl the whole time he's been in Green Bay, which he did. He did his thing when they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, yeah, shout out to Aaron Rodgers for that. And he hasn't been in the Super Bowl since. Now, with that being said, from New York Jets, they've had a decent season last year. Their defense was tremendously good. Um, they averaged about 18 points a game. Um, and they had a great, really solid year. Um, so Aaron Rodgers, looking at his stats, you take that into perspective that if the Jets was averaging about 18 points a game in Aaron Rodgers' career, I think he's about 28-10. Um, when playing against teams that average about 18 points a game overall in his career, overall in total totality. So I get it, but at the same time, let's not forget who's in the AFC. You got to worry about your division. Okay, let's start off with my guy. If he's healthy and he have a great year, you got to worry about the Miami Dolphins and the pieces they added. And don't think Vic Fangio and that defense gonna have something to say when Aaron Rodgers know when they play the Jets. Then you got um, Josh Allen and the crew and the Buffalo Bills. So let's not excuse them. You got to remember now that the Bills are solid. Um, then the Patriots, dude, they're not gonna have two bad years in a row. You can't never rule out Bill Belichick. So I would say you got to worry about your division. Outside of your division, man, you got Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars. I think are on the tip of the spear. They're coming. You got Joe Burrow. I mean, come on, you got Patrick Mahomes. I mean, we'll see what Denver does and see if Coach Sean Payton can resurrect Russell Wilson there in that scheme and in that offense. So let's not jump ahead of ourselves and start crowning these guys Super Bowl champs and they going to the Super Bowl. Remember, you got to have a whole lot of luck and a whole lot of things got to go right. So I'm not there as far as wanting to being able being one of the ones that's gonna go ahead and crown the New York Jets as this team that's going. Oh, they're going to the Super Bowl because they got Aaron Rodgers. Is he an elite quarterback? Yes. Is he a great quarterback? Absolutely. Yeah, you could say that they was one quarterback away last season from um, progressing really far, but I'm still not there yet. There's a lot to be said there in the AFC, in my personal opinion. Moving on, we got Chase Young here. Um, the Washington Commanders, y'all, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, and I wonder why that is. I mean, this guy had in 2020 he had 7.5 sacks. In 2021 he had 1.5 sacks. 2022, I get it, he was injured. I'm curious to see what's going on there. I know the Commanders from a management leadership perspective. I know they're doing some rebuild there. Snyder's supposed to be out and begin selling the team. I'm happy that my man Magic Johnson is in there as a minority owner. I'd be curious to see why they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. Could that mean that he will be a part of this year's draft? I don't know, in a trade. So could could mean that. So we shall see. On top of that, yo, let's acknowledge Miss Nicole Lynn as one of the first female African American agents out there. She's Jalen Hurts' agent and got him his deal. So let's applaud her for that, man. Awesome job, man. Just love the diversity. First African American female agent, man, that got this deal done. And I think, excuse me, I think that is amazing. And I picked up her book about a month ago in Barnes and Nobles. Make sure y'all go out there and support it. It is a good read and everything. So um, I like how she talks about walking in your purpose, and that's what I'm doing with mine. I'm walking in my purpose, and I'm gonna go ahead and pursue sports and sports management. So I really like that for Jalen Hurts. Congrats to him and his team, Nicole Lynn and their team. So congrats to them on that. So, are you all excited about the draft? Yes, it is draft day, y'all. It is draft day. Um, which one of these quarterbacks is going to go first? Which team will these quarterbacks have a future with? I'd be very curious to see who gets off the board first. I mean, we already know Carolina has the first pick, but that's swapped to Chicago. Um, uh, I would tell you, in my personal opinion, out of this, these quarterbacks here, who I like, I really like the guy. I give you my 1 through 3. I'll do it that way. Third, I like Anthony Richardson. I really like him. I know there's a lot of potential in him, strong arm. However, the experience factor in college, I think he only played 1 year in college. Um, that's okay. You can put him behind a veteran quarterback. You sit him out for a year. That way, he carries the headset and um, the notepad with the plays and all that, and he just develops and he just learns. You know what I mean? So I really like Anthony Richardson. For instance, you put him in Seattle, you sit him behind Geno Smith there in Seattle, and just let him learn, let him develop. Let's be serious. Geno might have a good maybe 2. I know that Seattle just signed him to a deal, but he got a good 2, 3 years left. But even if you just sit him this year and then play him the following year for the 2000 and You know, what's that? Uh, 24, 25, 2025 season. I mean, I think that'd be great. So it would be good. You know, I like him as my number three. My number two, um, it was a tie for me in between CJ, or excuse me, a tie for me out of Bryce Young and Hendon Hooker. I think Hendon Hooker, in my personal opinion, would be a sleeper. Yeah. Why I say reason why I say Hendon Hooker would be a sleeper is I'm looking at the division he played in. Also, I'm looking at um, when he played, um, Alabama. He played Ole Miss and how he performed. Just playing those SEC teams. So I like Hendon Hooker as a sleeper that will develop well in the NFL. Bryce Young, I really like Bryce Young as well. A lot of people are concerned with the small frame. I'm not concerned with the small frame. I think he's still, is very athletic and be a bit mobile and still get the ball off. But I think he comes in as my number two. I really like my guy CJ Stroud from the Ohio State. Just the way that he can maneuver in the pocket and get plays done. Now, I know that he didn't do well on this. Forgot what they call the test, but there was an actual written test that you got to do. I know that he didn't perform well, so there's some talk about him dropping down a bit in the draft. But um, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a great test taker either. But if you ask me how I perform and how I lead and how I got you. But if you ask me to do a test, I'm not the best test taker. So I don't think that really should be held against him in my personal opinion. But I really like CJ Stroud as my number one. So the draft tonight definitely will be interesting to see what happens and see what trades go on as well. You know. All right, moving on to the NBA. Um, Coach Ume Udoka, Houston Rockets have went ahead and said that he will be their coach of the future starting next season. I think that is a great thing. I also think that everyone deserves second chances. I'm not going to sit here and judge someone from what they do from their past. Listen, we all got a past, so I'm not gonna sit here and judge or point the finger. My grandma used to say, "If you point the finger, you got three, four. I'm pointing right back at you." So I like this move for Houston as they a young team and they develop. I'm sure he'll get them in check. One thing is to be for sure and for certain. What I could say that I really admire and like about this move is he's a great coach, and I don't have to worry about him in the East. Me being a Miami Heat fan, we're in the East because, as you all know, when he was the coach of the Boston Celtics, we had to face Boston. Boston beat us, and they got to the finals. So, and Boston is still doing good now with their, with their interim coach. So, not to say anything bad there, but what I'm saying is, and what I'm getting at is, he's just a hell of a coach. Okay, moving down. Okay. My man Donovan Mitchell is 1-6. His record in elimination games. We already know how when he before the Cavs he was with the Utah Jazz. So he's coming over to Cleveland. Um, listen, Cavs played New York to the best of their ability. You had the other guard there, Garland, and um, I don't know what. So the Cavs, to me, in my personal opinion, they're reminding me of a team that's going to get wins throughout the season, but progression as far as the playoffs, I don't see it. In my personal opinion, I feel like this would be Donovan Mitchell will be the Damian Lillard of the East, if that makes sense. Meaning that he'll get his team where they needs to be. He's going to play. He's going to show up. He'll get his team and rally around and get the squad together. Have a great record throughout the season. get them in the playoffs. But when it comes to the playoffs, they just don't have the help to make that extra step, if that makes sense. So I consider this move the Damian Lillard of the East, in my personal opinion. Like I said, I just see them having good wins throughout the season, but when it comes to playoffs, I don't really see them going far. All right. Okay, so man, Trigger Trey Young, Ice Cold Trey is what they call him here in Atlanta, man. And Trey sunk that 3 pointer against Boston. Boston, that should be enough. That should remind you of when your mom says, "Don't play with your food at the table." That's what that kind of reminds me of. Y'all was playing with your food. You had the Hawks. You was up by 10 or 12 points in the fourth quarter with about 3 4 minutes left. Um, I don't know. I don't know what Boston. That's another subject for a different day. But congrats to the Atlanta Hawks for just pushing it to Game 6. Y'all pushed it to Game 6. Um, Now check this out. Janet Jackson is supposed to have a concert on today, Thursday, here in Atlanta, at the State Farm Arena. However, the Atlanta Hawks did not think the Atlanta Hawks, I don't know, somewhere there within their organization, uh, didn't think that their playoff run would run this far. That's a shame. That's a shame. So I'll be curious to talk to that PM, that project manager who schedules all the events and who's in charge of coordinating events. Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Y'all didn't have no faith in y'all Atlanta Hawks, man. So um, shame on them. But the Atlanta Hawks pushed it to Game 6. So Janet Jackson, that concert has been delayed by a day at the State Farm Arena. Sorry, Ms. Jackson. Okay, now this right here is not a joking matter. We got the Joker versus the Lethal Shooter and Kevin Durant. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. Um, I really, want to give Jamal Murray some credit. Way to bounce back off an injury-prone year last year. He's bounced back and he looks like he's back in full form. So it's good to see Jamal Murray back. But this series should be a really good one. Um, I don't know. I'm not no. I don't know if I'm ready to call this one yet or who I think will win this series. Phoenix has been playing some good ball as well. I was really curious, or I was excited prior to the playoffs to see them playing the Clippers in the playoffs in that first round. Then when I found out Paul George was injured, I was like, oh, okay, it's probably going to go the Suns' way. Although Kawhi Leonard had one of those games, he had like 31 points, and then to find out he went down with the injury. My thing is this, with the Clippers. I don't know. I'm not as far as to go as far as where Stephen A. said where Kawhi Leonard should retire, but I do feel him on a marketing perspective. Like, bro, you're not doing nothing for my team, and I wish him a healthy and speedy recovery. But Kawhi Leonard, man, Mr. Load Management, you take all this time off during the season to, so to try to prevent you from being injured. Then you get in the playoffs, and then you get injured. I mean, I don't think him and Paul George has had that nucleus and have had that much time together, um, really on the court. I would have to go back and get you the amount of games that they played together. But this is what I don't like. When they came to the team, when they got signed to the team some years ago, all these subliminals and he coming to the Clippers and then they had the subliminal commercial with the keychain and all that with the crown. I guess, targeting LeBron, like he's gonna take over as the new king of LA. All that, and y'all ain't been to a finals since y'all got together. People can say what they want to say about LeBron and the Lakers, but at least they got to the finals. I mean, whether it was in a bubble or whatever, that's whatever your flavor of tea is. But a finals is a finals, a championship is a championship, and the Lakers proved that. I haven't seen anything from the Clippers, but that's just my perspective, my opinion. But looking forward to this matchup with the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns. The Warriors lead over the Kings. Um, so this is what I would say to about this series here is Draymond. I like how he kind of shook it off when he was talking about, or I'm sorry, when he got suspended for that one game. I like how he just came back and shook it off and just played ball. Um, and so a lot of people had, including myself, I was like, man, maybe the Kings will pull it back. The Kings will pull it off at home in Sacramento. And these games have been really close, guys, really close games. Um, the Warriors now take the lead. I find myself in this predicament every year. You just can't count the Warriors out. And I know the series is still, going on. But now the Warriors have the upper hand, so now I take it back to the Bay Area, and we'll see. The Warriors are going to try to close it out. They're not going to leave no room to resuscitate, to revive the Kings. So the Kings want a shot at that game. They're gonna have to step up. They're gonna have to kick into the fifth gear or something like that. And congrats to Mike Brown for winning Coach of the Year, well deserved. And the Sacramento Kings ain't been to the playoffs, I think, in about 60, 17 years. I don't remember the amount, but it's been a long time coming, y'all. So shout out to Mike Brown for getting these guys on the right track, man, and getting them to the playoffs. Okay. Orange and blue skies is what they said, man. So the Knicks progressed to the second round. This is the first time since since 2013. So congrats to the Knicks. Let me tell y'all something. Jalen Brunson is a monster. I'm sure y'all already know that. Dude's a monster. There was some speculation between the Knicks and that trade getting Donovan Mitchell and then getting um, Jalen Brunson. So I think that he's answered that he Brunson, he is him. So I mean, I don't. He showed up. He balled. I hope Julius Randle will be okay. I think he rolled his ankle um, in this game, and so they beat the Cavs and they go on to the second round and play by Miami Heat. And shout out to Coach Thibodeau. Hell of a coach. Hell of a coach. Um, I like that he knows how to adjust in the game. He's a hell of a coach. So we'll see what happens next, guys. All right. Um, Now the Miami Heat become the sixth, number 8 seed. Miami Heat was the 8th seed coming to the playoffs, but they become the sixth, number 8 seed in NBA history to advance past the number 1 seed, defeating the Milwaukee Bucks. Listen, Jimmy Buckets has just been spectacular. He's a dog, man. And when I mean a dog, definition of a dog, meaning like he's feisty on the court. He goes and get buckets. He does what he's supposed to do. I mean, just a phenomenal player, man. And I like how the team, rallies around him. Um, and I like how the supporting cast stepped up. I was telling a few friends of mine, I said, in order for Miami to have a shot and beat the Bucks, we have to have our supporting cast stepped up. There was a game where Max Strus stepped up, Gabe Vincent stepped up, Caleb Martin stepped up. Bam, and he's gonna do his thing. Jimmy's gonna do that thing, but you gotta have that supporting cast. Kevin Love hit some threes. Even had to get Duncan Robinson coming off the bench. Because Tyler Hero's injured. So I like that the supporting cast basically stepped up. It was really inconsistent throughout the season, but hey, when you officially get in the playoffs, you know, it's a different level. It's definitely a different level. So I'm happy that the supporting cast stepped up, and Miami continues to go to the next round, and they beat the Bucks 4-1. Something I found really interesting at the press conference with Giannis Antetokounmpo, a reporter had asked him. They actually asked his coach as well. Do you consider this a failed season? And Giannis got a bit flustered, got a little bit frustrated there because he was noting that this same reporter asked him the same question last year. And so, um, in his soliloquy, he basically said some things, but I like what he said here specifically. He says, Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure. It was a question. There's no failure in sports. We're going to come back better, play better. There are steps to winning. And I like that because, now the Jordan lovers and the Kobe lovers, they'll try to make this some type of a debate topic or something out of it. But I like what he's saying. All he's saying is that, you don't always win. You don't always win. I've heard people, when I gave LeBron his glory for winning a chip, I've had and people say, "Oh, he been to he been to the finals this many times, and he lost. He failed. I don't know, 10 finals or whatever." They give me some whatever the number was. Don't quote me on the number, but they'll tell me the amount of times that he got to the finals in his career, and those many times that he failed versus the times that he won. I do know he got 4 chips, but the number of failures there for the times that he didn't win the chip in the finals, they quick to say that. And I'm like, so we look at the failure part, and that's people and looking at life. Like you really look at, it's crazy how people look at stuff and they quick to point out your failures. And I like what Giannis says here, where okay, Jordan played 15 years, but I'm sure out of those, he won 6 championships. So those other 9 years, man, those other 9 years is not failures. Those are just lessons learned. You know what I mean? And that's how we gotta approach life, man. Is lessons learned. You don't take losses, okay? You bounce back, you learn from it, and you move on. If any of y'all got kids out there, your kid fall off the swing, or your kid fall, or if they playing any sports and they lost, what you tell you say, hey man, you shake it off and you hold your head up. Okay. It wasn't a fail. You learn from it. Okay, you learn from it and you bounce back. So I really like his soliloquy here. I like what he said. And asked the reporter this question, does that mean that the other 9 years that Jordan played was that a failure because he didn't win? No, he's still a GOAT. Jordan is still a GOAT. So I really like that. That's why I wanted to really point that out there. All right. So the East second round matchup, I got my Miami Heat gear on. I had to represent. So who you got? It's gonna be a tough. The last time we played New York, um, that game was in Miami, and Julius Randle had an off balance 3-pointer shot that went in. I thought for sure we had that win, but sometimes all you need is a bit of luck. So I think this series will be interesting. I got it going to 7 games, and of course, I'm rocking with Miami Heat. Of course, um, I think the Miami Heat culture is going to show up. Um, Shoot, they showed up playing Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. I think, I think, I think they'll show up in New York when it counts and when it matters. And I think they got a bit more of experience when it comes to playoff and finals basketball. New York don't necessarily have that. Sometimes experience does matter in some cases. So we'll see how this turns out. But I got Miami in 7. So we shall see, guys. We shall see. As always, it's your boy Joe Snow. I want to thank y'all for y'all support. Go follow me on YouTube at Joseph Snowden 397. Follow me on Facebook, Joe Snow Podcast. My Instagram is Joe Snow Podcast with the podcast with a 0 for Instagram. Um, just want to thank y'all for your support. Following me with sports. Love to talk about it. The playoffs has been great so far. I'm really looking forward to the draft tonight. Let me know who y'all got, who you think going in the first round, first pick, second pick, third pick. Curious to see where these quarterbacks go in the future, and let's discuss and talk about it. Yeah. So until next time, we'll chop it up. And again, thank y'all for tuning in. Joe Snow out.